October 26th, the spacecraft, encapsulated inside the payload fairing, was transported to the Mobile Service Tower, or MST, at Space Launch Complex 6 and mated to the Delta IV Heavy rocket. The Mobile Assembly Shelter, or MAS, was moved to its launch position. The MAS protects the Delta IV rocket from the wind and fog so common to its location here on California's Pacific coast. Final launch preparations at Space Launch Complex 6 begin with rollback of the Mobile Service Tower, or MST. Using 40 hydraulic cylinders at pressures nearing 3,500 psi, the MST was raised 8 inches and rolled back, revealing the Delta IV Heavy. At 100 feet by 100 feet by 300 feet, the MST is as tall as a football field is long, as wide as the length of a basketball court, and weighs in at about 10 million pounds. Using a carriage transporter system traveling at about a quarter mile per hour, it takes about 25 minutes to roll the MST to its launch position 300 feet east of the rocket. The Delta IV Heavy stands 232 feet tall, or about 23 stories, and weighs about 1.6 million pounds fully fueled. The 3 Delta IV RS-68A main engines produce more than 2 million pounds of thrust. Approximately 6 minutes later, at stage separation, it weighs just 7% of what it did at liftoff.
Roll for ignition.
T-minus 10, 9, 8. We should have ignition. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket with NROL-71 for the National Reconnaissance Office.
Vehicles beginning the pitch over maneuver.
You are hearing the voice of Patrick Moore providing launch vehicle ascent data.
Now 20 seconds into flight, seeing good chamber pressure across all 3 RS-68A engines. Now 30 seconds into flight. And core boosters beginning to throttle down to the partial thrust mode as expected. Core boosters reach partial thrust. Now 46 seconds into flight. Chamber pressures continue to look good across all 3 RS-68 engines. Core booster in partial thrust mode, port and starboard boosters in the full thrust mode. Now coming up on 1 minute into flight. Now passing 1 minute, 10 seconds. All 3 RS-68A engines continue to look good. Vehicle is now passing max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. And vehicle is now past Mach 1. Delta IV is now supersonic. Now 1 minute, 30 seconds into flight. Chamber pressures on all 3 RS-68A engines continue to look good. Core booster in the partial thrust mode, port and starboard boosters in the full thrust mode. 1 minute, 40 seconds in. Engine operating parameters continue to look good. Now passing 2 minutes, 42 seconds in. The Delta IV rocket now weighs just 1/2 of what it did at launch, burning propellant at a rate of almost 5,000 pounds per second. 2 minutes, 55 seconds in. Vehicle body rates continue to look good. Now at 3 minutes, vehicle is now passing Mach 5. Three minutes, 30 seconds in, just over 2 minutes remaining in the boost phase of flight. Vehicle is now passing Mach 10. Chamber pressures on the RS-68A engines continue to look good. And port and starboard booster engines now throttling down to partial thrust in preparation for cutoff as expected. And we have cutoff of the strap-on engines, standing by for separation. And we have good indication of separation of the port and starboard strap-on booster. Core booster is now throttled back up to the full thrust mode. Engine response looks good. 4 minutes, 10 seconds into flight. Chamber pressure on the core booster in the full thrust mode looks good. Upper stage lock system has begun boost phase chill down sequence to begin thermal conditioning of the upper stage engine. Now 1 minute remaining in the boost phase of flight. And upper stage fuel system has begun boost phase chill down. Core booster continues to look good in the full thrust mode. Coming up on 5 minutes into flight, a little over 30 seconds now remaining until BECO. Vehicle body rates continue to look good. Chamber pressure continue to look good on the core booster. Now 5 minutes, 20 seconds, standing by for core booster throttle down shortly. Core booster is now throttling down as expected. Standing by for BECO. And we have BECO booster engine cutoff, standing by for stage separation. And we have good indication of stage separation. Nozzle extension is now deploying. We have pre-start on the RL-10, standing by for ignition on the RL-10. We have ignition and full thrust on the RL-10. Chamber pressure looks good. Body rates look good. Standing by for payload fairing jettison. And we have good indication of payload fairing jettison. Chamber pressure continue to look good on the RL-10 engine. This first burn of today's mission will last approximately 12 minutes, 6 seconds.